Greetings and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is August 14th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing phenomenal. I was so excited to talk to you about what happened this weekend.
And what was that? It's Wednesday now.
Caleb Williams. Just sensational.
I didn't see it. I don't watch preseason football out of market, let alone my own team, to be fair. So I did not see it, if you can believe it or not.
He looks so good.
That's good.
This is setting up for just hard. I don't know if I trust it yet, but it's setting up just to be hurt here.
Yeah. I saw the scouts, reputable people who have not claimed he could be the most famous athlete of all time in Chicago, saying he looks great. He looks great. He looked good. I don't know. That's all like. I mean,
I saw a couple throws that I've never seen in my lifetime from a Bears quarterback.
All right. Well,
he only completed 4, but like there were a couple throws where I was like, "Oh my god!"
How'd Eberflus look?
They look great. His makeover's complete. It's complete. Great. He's gonna.
Love that'll translate to on the field performance. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, the two most successful coaches. Cared a lot about personal appearance. Belichick and Andy Reid.
What's the Hard Knock schedule? When's the next episode come out?
On the spot here.
Tuesdays, so it's got to be tonight. You're gonna get dialed. Absolutely dialed.
I feel, when the hurricane hit, I knew that I was in trouble for the Wyndham. And I was sad I missed maybe the biggest shotgun start story of the year. I was in the plane. I have to say, I loved it. I landed in Minneapolis, and I raced as soon as I landed. I went to the Shotgun Start feed to listen, and I gotta say, I was howling as I went through the airport, listening to you and Joseph talk about what happened.
I mean, it's that kind of story. Every now and then, the gods deliver. And sometimes when they don't, we go and find them. That's the point of this podcast. You texted Saturday night, and you're like, "Oh, it's not going to finish. Let's record early." And I look, I was like, "Oh, that sounds lovely." And then Sunday, we're kind of hemming and hawing, 3 o'clock. I think they're going to finish. Imagine if we had just recorded, irrespective of whatever happened in the last 5 hours of this Wyndham, and then that happened. That would have been a mess, but I'm glad we waited. I guess
had to record on Monday morning.
Yeah, it would have, as much as it worked out. It would have been nice to record Sunday afternoon. I'm glad we waited. So, still cleanup
Monday. Monday Kuchar cleanup.
He finished. Resumed at 8 a.m. on Monday.
I love that he went to the range, got a cart ride out to the range,
rolled a few. This.
I actually admire how much of an asshole he is.
I was going to say, this asshole is what I was about to say. I didn't want to curse. Rolling the putt.
You get to a certain level of asshole, and sometimes you just have to respect that that somebody can pull this off. I could never pull this off. I would feel so uncomfortable all Monday. I would just be walking on pins and needles, saying sorry to everybody that I came across. Every single person there, I'd be apologizing profusely to. If I accidentally walk through a door when there's someone on the other side, it's I feel bad for 5 minutes. Matt Kuchar could just go about life like nothing happened. All these people showed up today, had to come in early on a day they weren't supposed to come in, and get the golf course ready, get the tournament ready, be there to give them a ride to the range.
How about immediately ask for line of sight relief?
Somebody had to be there to give him his ruling, his bullshit ruling, and he just carried on like nothing had happened. And to me, you have to commend a person that can operate at this level of asshole.
I love that he does it. The ones that it's almost not love. It's impressive that he does it with the, "Oh, shucks, gee golly, I'm just laughing." and equanimity, calmness about him almost. I mean, there's the raging a-hole, right? The guy who's just a jerk. And this guy does it with sort of a smooth sailing calmness.
We have to call out Kevin
Price
for incredible on the ground reporting on Twitter of
just
the
dead
whole
straight. Played it straight. This is what's happening.
Played it so straight that
just the facts.
He's a PGA Tour employee.
Yeah,
he could not put
not
any
a lot of wiggle room there.
He could not put any, but he played it so straight. It was so clear that he thought the situation was preposterous. I'm reading into the lines on Kevin. I hope nobody in Ponte Vedra is taking my interpretation of him playing it straight.
Couldn't. He played it straight. You can't.
Played it dead straight. He reported just the facts, but he did so in a manner that had me just laughing at every tweet along the thread. Can I tell you my favorite moment of all of them?
What?
It was a video of Kuchar putting out in the round of applause.
Yeah, that was. Who are those people? How did they get in there? There's usually a VIP fancy boy, amateur thing on Mondays. Was that who those people were? Clapping a lawn or staff outing? I think he was actually didn't know what to do. I don't think he gave him the wave. He was put his head down like Charlie Brown and moped off the green. I think. I don't think he acknowledged him because he shouldn't. He shouldn't. They should. I assume those are facetious. Cheers. Are you happy now? Get your ass out of here. I'll say this. He's now gone on the record. We recorded this sort of in the heat of the battle Sunday night as we were just put on our ass with just knocked over with a feather with this Kuchar move. He's now gone on record. I got to say, this is I deal with my children. And then, I come down, they're on the iPad. I said, who said you could play the iPad? I said, my mom said I could play the iPad. I go to mom and said, did you say they could play on the iPad? I said, no, I didn't say. She said she didn't say that.
My daughter started to do this. She'll say, I'll be in the other room. She said, Dad told me I could watch TV. And I have to yell across, no, I didn't.
So then I go back to the kid. Mom said you could play on the iPad. Well, she said I could play on the iPad if I cleaned up this. I said, well, did you clean up that? I was no, I didn't clean up that. I just went to the... So the story's just moving about. He's just trying to confuse you, throw you off, but none of it makes any damn sense. None of it excuses any of the actual in the wrong. None of it covers his ass. All right, we had it Sunday night. PJ read this, as a great producer does. He said he was trying to set an example for Max Grazerman.
I thought Garrett made a great point on the Fried Egg Pod about this situation. He was setting an example for a 29-year-old pro. Not a 21-year-old, not a 24-year-old, Max Grazerman is 29. He was setting an example for a 30-year-old.
Trying to set an example of Max. We were so past when we should have stopped playing, given the light. We saw what Max did on hole 16. They should have blown the horn there. I feel bad. The poor kid should have won this tournament. I mean, that's a little presumptive. Should have won? That's it? He doesn't have any arms and hands, and he's not hitting the shot.
Aaron Rye made a birdie on 18 and pitched in the dark.
By me not playing, it may show Max he has an important shot. Max didn't hit the shot. I may have been privy to someone who might have been privy to Max Grazerman's thought process and thinking on the matter. Let me tell you, it doesn't align with anything Kuchar's saying here. I don't think he's buying whatever Kuchar, and I don't think he was into whatever Kuchar was trying to put down. From what I understand here in my reporting.
Just trying to help the kid. Help the kid. Who calls a 29-year-old a kid?
Set an example. It was Luke Clanton or something like that. Even that.
It's just a patronizing level of asshole.
So this is the Monday quote. Listen. When you start the quote, listen. Okay, we're listening. Nobody wants to be that guy, which I feel I turned into. You didn't turn into. You as if it's some passive thing that happened to you. I turned into this. I just, he watered me and I grew. He made all the decisions. Nobody wants to be that guy, which I feel I turned into. The one guy that didn't finish. Look, you had the agency here.
No one wants to be you. Who you decided.
Yes, it wasn't like you were told like he was moving too slow, and he's like, you can't play anymore. And then you see your whole crew keep playing, and you still decide not to play. I can't tell you how many times I have been finished with a round thinking, bummed out that somebody didn't finish, that we didn't get to make the cut because somebody didn't finish. Here it's me now as the guy that didn't get to finish the tournament. Then just sharing that as an example to like the insanity that took place this on Sunday night, like some cut not getting done on time, or the U.S. Open not getting like 156 players in a rainstorm, like sharing that as like analogous in any way to what he did on this Sunday with 3 rounds played in one day, and everybody on the 18th fairway is completely trying to absolve himself of any responsibility of the decision and mistake that he made. But last night, it was dark. I mean, we had texts that round 1 was suspended at 8:15, round 2 suspended at 8:25. That was to make the cut, so they pushed it even longer. Round 4 was suspended at 8:40, and it was dark. I think I had been in the fairway with the normal shot. I probably would have attempted to finish. God, it doesn't matter where you were. But I had just seen Max 4-putt the 16th hole. That was like an hour and 20 minutes earlier, an hour earlier. Maybe not an hour, 45 minutes earlier. If there was daylight on that green, does he 4-putt? So he's just like, this is like my kid. He's just appending like new reasons why he was like, he knew he messed up. He knew he was caught. I shouldn't have done that. I was temperamental. I was mad. I was just pissed off. I picked up my ball and went home. And now he's appending new reasons. He just 4-putted again.
He's mad. He's appending. He knows he's done something bad, but he'll still take the cart ride from somebody to the range. He'll still roll some putts around. He'll still ask for the ruling. It's insane.
Does Max 4-putt if there's daylight? I don't know. That has nothing to do with you just picking up your ball on 8. Like, that's just like you're blaming Max's 4-putt now for why you're the asshole 50 minutes later. He's just making more stuff up, and people are trying to give him the media's going soft on him, a little bit softer than they should have. There is no $100,000, I guess, if he makes a birdie.
He's made $60 million in his career, so $100,000 is not. This is the thing: is that people equate it's $100,000. It's $100,000. It's not the same as $100,000 to a normal person.
So it's right, and it ignores that. Just simplifies the context of everyone else finishing with much higher stakes. His playing partner, like it just absolves everybody finished. Everybody pushed their ass to get this done. It just absolves the context of everything else that was going on. So simplified. Oh, it's just $100,000. I did not realize Aaron Rai had made birdie on the last, so I'm over on 10 trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm figuring no way Max is going to finish out with a chance to win the tournament. I thought Max for sure had a shot to win. I thought there's no way in the situation you hit this shot. You come back in the morning 100% of the time. So I said, well, Max will stop. I'll stop. Kind of make it easy on him. Max didn't stop.
And then Max wanted to keep going.
And Kuchar didn't. And that was it. So he's just like changing the goalposts here.
If once he saw Max hit the shot, he could have been like, you know what? I'm going to play out.
And then on hitting, like, so the whole rushed 18 tee shot, the best was like he bombs one into, like, bombs is too strong a word, but you know what I mean.
Poofs one.
Yeah, he kind of bunts one out there. And, he says he didn't see him. He thought Billy Boy was up by the green. He saw a pink shirt. I wasn't just. He did. A lot
of Billy Boy flack. A lot of Billy Boy flack.
Oh, because
he's just a nice guy. He's just a good guy.
Yes, he is nice. I'm not saying he's not. He was a little thirsty. Not little. He was a lot thirsty. I know he called you buddy once, and now you can't say anything bad about him anymore. And he was congratulate Aaron Rai. It was like he congratulated him. Then he went back in for a fourth hug, and then he went back in for an yeah. And then he gave the caddy this sort of face-to-face emotional talk when the cameras were there for that one. And it was like nonstop.
Can I do a quick Billy
thirsty
detour?
Yeah.
I ran into a friend of the program yesterday who may have worked at a club that Billy frequented over the years. And he said, I just love all the Billy Boy content. I got to say, like 70% of my interactions with Billy were great. I was like, oh, you got a lot of buddies? And he goes, yeah, tons of buddies.
Hey, buddy.
He goes with 30% when he was in a mood or something. You know, those were tough. And he goes, all I could ever think about.
It's normal. Everybody gets, you know, nobody's 100% of the time positive.
All I can think about whenever you guys say Baton Boy is Billy hitting a shot on the range and tomahawking.
Sure.
Tomahawk tossing a wedge 50 yards down the range. It's a vivid image that I'll never forget in my life of him being the only one on the range and me just seeing him tomahawk a wedge 50 yards down the range after he hit a shot.
Cast the line. I love that. That's good. He put a little extra mustard on there.
Well, you know what? He's a showman. He's a showman. We gotta appreciate Billy as a rare showman on the tour.
I mean, he was on camera and emoting more than Aaron Rye himself. It was unbelievable. It was a lot. It was thirsty, but that's why we love Billy Boy. All right, that's Wyndham Monday. Wyndham Monday wraps up. They jammed everybody trying to get to Memphis, where it'll be 96, 96, 94 the first 3 days of action. But it does look like it won't be stormy. Liv Greenbrier does win the temperature battle, but it might storm there. It's only going to be in the 80s.
Cannot wait for Liv Memphis. Or not Liv Memphis. FedEx Memphis.
FedEx St. Jude, Memphis. Who cares?
Is this the Bridgestone or the FedEx or is it the Barclays? Is it the Barclays?
WGC Bridgestone Invitational Barclays Championship.
Didn't they get tripped up last year with a little misdirection?
Yes. It's like Matt Kuchar trying to keep his story straight. They can't keep what is this event's lineage now.
I think we should reach out to PGA Tour.com's official comment. Which history is this? We're maybe I'll do it under the guise of bringing back a flashback Friday for Friday, but I need to know what history. What history do I go back on? Do I go back?
I think it claims
Memphis?
all of them. It claims Memphis, Bobby Garrigus, hitting it off the planet, that whole deal. Daniel Berger, 2-time winner. Claims 8-time winner Firestone Tiger Woods, right? Because it was that for a minute, had a cup of coffee as the Bridgestone Invitational. And it claims, Liberty National, Bethpage, Plainfield,
remember
Ridgewood,
when
that whole
DJ
deal.
hit it over the water? That would count at what was that place?
Century, Glen Oaks.
Glen
Oaks. PJ's neck of the woods up there on the North Shore or whatever it is, Long Island.
PJ, I heard you were out at the event yesterday. How'd it go?
Fried egg event.
On Long Island.
Great
on your island.
Event yesterday. Yeah. Just a little 30-minute drive out east. I had a great time. It was wonderful. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Did everybody get finished on time? How was the pace of play?
Pace of play was great. It was fantastic.
Nobody protested finishing the last hole because of darkness. That would have been a good move.
No protest because of darkness. Played powered through a little bit, maybe like a half hour of a light misting, and then it ended up being a beautiful night. It was great. It was a great time.
Okay,
that's good. That's good to hear.
We're on to Memphis. Hey, are you familiar with the title of Mr. 70?
Well, I became familiar. This is a new thing. Victor Perez, Mr. 70.
When did we start doing
technically this? Mr. 71.
Well, I go to the PGA Tour's website, .com/FedEx Cup. He's 71 still. I don't know. I know Grayson Murray was taken off. He's not taken off. I don't think projected sometimes has Grayson Murray. I don't think the PGA Tour knows what standings are what. But Mr. 70, I love this. Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft, Brock Purdy. We're now claiming. I've never heard this before this week. Mr. 70. We're gonna claim this as Victor Perez. It's gonna be a big deal. He's on to Memphis.
You know
last
what?
guy.
You know what it'd be like if they added a name to the guy picked before Mr. Irrelevant. That's what this feels like.
Why the guy picked before?
Just because this is meaningless. It's
they're
pointless.
It up on
It's completely there's There's nothing
I love
here.
that there was a graphic for it.
What do you get for finishing 70th that you don't get for 71st, other than you can say that I played in the playoff?
I mean, that's a significant thing. You're in the playoffs, but you're not.
But you get nothing from it.
I just don't think. I love that they're just trying to spin up new branding, new titles.
Trying to sell it. They're probably trying to sell a sponsor to it. The chase for Mr. 70.
Yeah, who wants to be Mr. 70? And you get this graphic.
Add-on. It could be an add-on, just like the Comcast Business Tour Top 10.
Congrats to Scotty Scheffler on that. I know it came down to the wire, and Matt Kuchar extended it a day until they could issue the press release. It was really down to the wire there on Sunday night. But Scotty Scheffler managed to close it out in a barn burner, the Comcast Business Tour Top 10.
Can I speak seriously here?
If you want, yeah.
Now,
I think we're serious all the time.
I think this event represents everything that's wrong with the PGA Tour, but it also represents what could be great about the PGA Tour. Do you know why it represents everything that's wrong with the PGA Tour?
I mean, I think we have a 5 or 6 year track record on this podcast of explaining why. It's goes to Memphis at the wrong time of year. There's because an office park abutting the 5th, 6th, 7th hole. There's a grain silo. It's the whole industrial history of America.
Listen, I understand how sponsorships work. We run a business that is partially dependent on sponsorships. But I also understand one of the things is you can't let the tail wag the dog.
Well, that's the story of the tour.
And this is an example of a tail wagging the dog. It's middle of August and we're playing golf. This is supposed to be the most important stretch of golf on the PGA Tour calendar. It's the what is it? The ultimate prize?
I don't know. It bounces from one. Yeah, I think that's what they're calling it. I know that. Yeah, the website's been rebranded with this scary.
We're playing
black.
in Memphis. I know, none of the players can be excited about going to Memphis in August. So the players aren't excited about it. Okay? That's a demerit. You have a high likelihood for terrible weather. That's a demerit. I know there's thunderstorms all over the place. It's on in a shitty TV window. It's on, it doesn't do you any favors with when it's on. It's not like it's on the West. Well, you could have something on the West Coast in prime time. So, I've just checked 3 boxes of why it's bad. It's a terrible golf course. Maybe it's not terrible. It's an average golf course. Okay? Average golf course. But it makes your sponsor happy. And if that's the only positive, to this event is that it makes our sponsor happy. That usually means you shouldn't do it as a company. If that's what the reasoning for doing something is, if you're in the sponsorship game, you shouldn't do it. Now, having said all of that, the top 50 thing, this is the most compelling part of the playoffs. This is the best event in the playoffs is this top 50. I think what's fascinating about how they set up the playoffs.
Happen at Memphis. It just stinks.
The most fascinating thing about the playoffs is I would rank the interest for me in the event going Memphis, the next week, wherever it is, it's at Castle Pines this week, because you get the top 30, you get the exemptions into majors. That is a really interesting thing, a really interesting aspect. Also, and then you get to East Lake, and this year I'm moderately interested because of the golf course, and that's it. The renovation. But that's the least interesting part. But anyways, this week is awesome. And you have legitimate big names outside the top 50. If you get in the top 50, you get into all the signature events, which is a huge, huge deal. Huge deal.
Legitimate big names.
Victor Hovland.
Are you referencing one?
Jordan Spieth.
There we go. You just got caught, yeah? I caught you.
Is he a superstar? I could say he's a big name. Is he a superstar?
I mean, the guy is just a guy. Legitimate big name or just a guy?
The thing's on the line. He's got to get this thing done. And he misses the cut at Wyndham. I know the wrist. Everybody's asking me to apologize about the wrist. It's like, really? Like,
who's asking you? Everybody's asking you to apologize.
It's just like ridiculous. It's like you feel bad about it. Like, I'm sorry. I feel bad about. I feel bad about Ricky Fowler. Do I think he should have an exemption cap? Next year? Yes. Do I feel bad that I was wondering why he wasn't playing? Maybe I should have been paying better attention. Okay.
He might have subtweeted you with his Instagram post, like right where I need to be. Here's my welcoming my new child. I don't think he listens to the podcast, but it did seem appropriately responsive to our misstep there last week. I got word today that Guy Kennings will absolutely wear a Just a Guy hat. While we're speaking of speed, if we get him one, we just need to send it across the pond. So we got to get a few more Just a Guy hats sent to the commissioner over there.
Let's just send him both color varieties.
Yeah, we could send them both. Spieth is.
Do you think Guy's a white hat or a blue hat guy kind of guy?
That depends. Seems versatile. Seems open to whatever suits the moment.
Who are you most interested on the bubble? So to me, the contenders here, like who I'd lay out. You got Justin Rose at 52, I think.
Yeah, I think Hovland's the most legitimate, interesting story. One
thing to note: the FedEx Cup page on the tour website is not correct right now. It's like you have to like.
I just said this. I know.
It's insane.
It's Tuesday, late Tuesday of the FedEx Cup week.
You know who probably threw this all off?
Cooch. I don't know. So I think Hovland's clearly the most interesting story of the bubble, boys. Like, now, do I think he'll play his way back into signature events or do whatever? Potentially. He'll get sponsors invites and things like that. But you're defending champ this time last year, defending FedEx Cup champ, not FedEx St. Jude champ.
And he's torn up St. Jude usually. This is a great course for him. The Initech, TPC Initech.
TPC Initech, just meandering about the commercial office park, the suburban office park. I think that's the most compelling story as a defending Super Bowl champion, not even making it back to the whatever top 50 BMW Castle Pines.
I mean, Nick Dunlap's my favorite one. He's won twice. One of the best stories of 2024. Would be in 29th if you could, but they don't count the points of his first win. Preposterous. Insane
none
rule.
Of the Amex. So he got the opposite field or additional event points, which aren't the full deal. It's like 300 or whatever out in Barracuda. But he didn't get the full boat from Amex in Palm Springs.
You know what this shows me?
What?
How unserious of an organization the PGA Tour is.
That's it.
This is insane. Anyone with any common sense, any fucking common sense.
Nabilo was making a great argument for this on the broadcast, on early broadcast Sunday morning. He's like, this is stupid. He didn't say that. He was much more polite. But he's like, you need to have retroactive points because they were talking about Clanton. Like, he gets PGA Tour U points, but like he's getting no points for kicking ass essentially all summer.
400 points, which would put him in the FedEx Cup. Let's see. He'd be 100th. He'd have a full card next year.
Can I give you a little, we're going to set the Clantons test here. A little nugget I got today or yesterday. Luke Clanton is now higher, not a professional golfer yet. He's now higher in OWGR than King Mule himself, Nate Lashley. And so, not even a professional, barely playing events with OWGR points. I think This is like the mule standard. If you are not above Luke Clanton, amateur in the OWGR, you are not allowed to comment. Reporters are not allowed to call you and ask you for your latest tirade on the injustice of whatever. I think this is the Clanton test. If you're behind him in the OWGR, you must remain a silent mule. You cannot be a lead pack mule at that point. All right, I digress. But Dunlap should have his retroactive points.
He'd be 29th.
It's good. I mean, he's not going to get to Atlanta.
No.
I mean, I guess he could win this week or something. But yeah, not going to get to Atlanta.
I mean, this is the exact story you want if you're the PGA Tour. What a sensation. Story of one of the stories of the year. Second, maybe story, 3 behind Matt Kuchar not finishing at Wyndham, number 1. Scotty Scheffler's storybook season, number 2. Luke, the Nick Dunlap
Xander.
is probably like, he's like a top 10 story on the PGA Tour this year. And you're not going to get any juice out of him the rest of the way.
Yeah. See those stories about him fighting his agency? They're suing each other. Dunlap.
A great start to the career.
You know that agency, GSE, worldwide? Someone at the at Pinehurst characterized them, because they sent all the guys to live, as human trafficking, essentially.
God.
And I responded, well, like, you're an agent. Aren't you all human traffickers when you think about it? And it's like, it's probably kind of what they're doing. Anyways, that's Dunlap's current predicament.
Just lighting the agents on fire. There's a lot
Sure.
of great sports agents in the world.
I'm not lighting anyone on fire. I've just responded like, you're taking a pop. And you're all human travelers when you think about it. We'll do an agents only podcast. Just air out everybody's dirty laundry on.
What I think we should do? We should get one of those voice changers.
Yeah. That guy was a total asshole.
And conduct some interviews with different agents. Mask their identity. There's
some interesting characters in that lot. But
so this is I'm now going to parlay this into a greater point of mine. Jordan Spieth is on the outside looking in, and is neither of our biggest stories about who might miss the top 50.
You're sticking the landing here, huh? Coming back around. Legitimate big name, but not my top story. Not your
Victor Hovland's a legitimate big name.
He is. Hasn't won a major. Spieth has.
You know who's a legitimate big name?
Brendan Todd. He's
Justin
on the outside.
Justin Rose.
Him
Legitimate
too.
big name.
I wonder if the cut should be a little more cutthroat. Should we go to like 40? Go 70 to 50. I mean, it's just not a lot of people. Right?
When I scroll through the names, I think I'd be pretty happy at 20.
Wait. 20 for the last 2 weeks of the year? Or what are you talking about?
for exempt into signatures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you start looking and it's like it gets real muley real fast sometimes.
But
not to say they're not pros or deserving of everything they've earned.
I think we cover golf pretty closely.
Sometimes.
Christian Bezuidenhout is 22. What has he done all year?
I was looking at the press conference schedule and he was on there. I was like, what? I didn't even know he was in the playoffs. But you're telling me he's 22?
22.
We do follow this closely.
He finished second at Amex, so he got points that Nick Dunlap didn't get.
That's it. There you go. There you go.
Finished fourth at the Memorial.
Okay.
I mean, he's had a good year, but it's wait, this is what gets you to 22nd?
Well.
It's the most unremarkable 22nd. And I want to parlay this into PJ's FedEx Cup fact of the day. One of my biggest grievances with Monday's podcast was there was no FedEx Cup fact.
Well, that's your,
I thought we agreed.
That's your corner. Presumed facts.
I feel bad stepping in for Andy here, but FedEx Cup fact of the day, presumed fact that I actually researched, but we'll still call it presumed. No one in the top 19 entering since 2019 when they changed the Tour Championship. Everybody in the top 19 has made it to East Lake every single year. Shane Lowry started the playoffs at 20 in 2019 and did not manage to make the Tour Championship. But outside of that, if you're in the top 19, you are safe. There are no upsets. We are not seeing a lot of turnover here.
This is like every great playoff system.
Wait. Andy, this is bullshit, dude. You're about to holler about there's no turnover because you would be shouting about how Scotty Scheffler's season and he shouldn't be at look, these guys who played great and they're not even at Atlanta. Like you're going to have it both ways.
Yeah.
It's not indicative. It's not reflective of the season we just watched. And they're not in Atlanta
because they haven't picked a way. They're stuck in the middle. It's like fake playoffs. It's part season accomplishment and it's part fake playoffs. There's no identity to this, and that's the issue.
I mean, I think there are a lot of issues with it. I think they tinker and change it every time for 15 years now. Nobody gives a shit about pro golf in August anymore. We've watched it for 6 months.
We do care about pro golf in August. Do you know what it's called?
What?
It's the Olympics. It's every 4 years now. That's when you pay attention in August.
Oh, wasn't that in July? I guess it was in August. It might have been August. You're right. Oh, but you know why you should care? Because we have a FedEx Cup pool. As much as we love these playoffs, we've decided to create a pool. We didn't sell it. We want to just give stuff away. Our FedEx Cup pool, $500.
I'm saying way to sell the pool.
I'm just saying, if I wouldn't give a shit about what was happening on the golf course, but if I had a chance at $500 Dratty gift card, a year's supply of Good Walk coffee, or $300 to the Fried Egg Pro Shop, I might start caring. And that's what we're trying to do because we love the PGA Tour. We're trying to up the stakes, up the interest, up the reasons to watch. We have a FedEx Cup.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Just out of the goodness of our hearts. I mean, it's not a sold deal. We were trying to give you, the listener, a little extra sugar and a little extra reason to pay attention in August.
It's a
you
fun
can find
format.
That.
It's a fun format. So you can pick one player from 61 to 70, one player from 51 to 60,
all the way down.
All the way down, and it's your cumulative score to par over all the events.
So 7-man team. You just keep running it up. The victor's 11 under. You add it to the tally.
Important note: gross par. There's no negative -10 starting position.
So just keep running it up off of a 10 starting strokes. Yeah.
I hope somebody just tanks it at the East Lake and jams somebody. Shoots like +10.
Obviously, if you get cut, you can't add to the cumulative birdie run up, and you expect this to be just a birdie barrage across 3 weeks.
I think Castle Pines is going to be an onslaught.
You won't believe how far this drive went in Colorado.
Hey, you know what we have to do too?
What?
We got to talk about one of our sponsors.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah. The tail might wag the dog on the tour, but it doesn't here.
No, it doesn't. Because I love starting my day with AG1. I get a scoop. It's super easy to do. And it just gets my day started off to a perfect way. I get energized. Listen, I've been on this trip. I got my travel packs, my shaker. I don't know what's going on. I've got like a bout of insomnia the last 2 nights. I just am laying in bed. It's so exhausted. I think
Kuchar's
the Kuchar thing got me so energized at 1 a.m. when I was listening to the pod that I couldn't go to sleep. And I was like, I got like 2 hours of sleep yesterday. And then last night I was like sleeping again. But one of the great things, I got my AG1 with me. So in the morning, I'm just like, the only thing that's getting me going is getting out of bed, making my AG1 and getting my day started on the right foot. And it's been, clinically tested, studies, extensive studies have been
Research
done
studies,
on this.
yeah.
Research and on all the benefits of AG1.
Knocking out those contaminants, making sure like people feel more energized, feel a little more clarity. If you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. You can try AG1 and get free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription at drinkag1.com/shotgun. drinkag1.com/shotgun. I'm trying to have a little health kick here in August. I've been using that little shaker bottle each morning. It's been a good run here for me. Back on my AG1. What?
I cannot believe the Bezadenhout at 22.
That's former President's Cup stalwart, Christian Bezadenhout.
I mean, like, this is the most... I don't want to sound...
He's a great guy. He's like one of the nicest, most incredible stories on tour that he's made it.
But I cannot believe this resume gets you to 22nd.
Yeah. Is there anything? What? Just the finish at Memorial and the finish at Amex is what gets you?
I mean, and then it's like just a bunch of like top 25s.
Yeah. Well,
top 30.
Consistent. You throw him in your.
I guess he's got Valspar
T9.
He could be 20s. He's got. God, he's just. I guess the T13 at the Players did some work for him.
Yeah.
God.
Sure. So he's in the crosshairs this week, I guess. Put him on your team.
You know how much money he's made this year?
I'll guess Players would be a good payout. $3.5 million.
$4.7 million.
Business is good on the tour. Strategic Sports Group. I don't know. Okay. We have anything else? What's your one and done pick for Memphis?
I mean, are we resetting the decks? What are we doing?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. I know where I'm going.
Who are you going with?
Playoff P. Pat Cantlay. Playoff Pat. This is where he comes out, comes running out of the tunnel,
former
smoke
champion.
Machine. Yes. He was, I think, a runner-up here. Almost nipped Sweaty Lucas Glover last year.
Do you think anybody comes out in non-moisture wicking fabric this week?
I think it's a way to get some pip points. Just come out in like a cotton pants. Go for the Glover, Sweaty Boy, Swamp
Did Glover
Bass,
even make it?
No, he did not. He that little summer run of his last year was a one-time deal. But he's in TGL because of it.
Tough for Atlanta Drive fans.
Yeah. I'm going with Playoff P. Playoff Pat Cantlay. This is his time to shine. Money on the table. Chips are down. Birdies to be had. He's going for it. I like Playoff Pat Cantlay. Who do you like? You're one and done.
I guess if we're resetting the decks, give me Ludwig.
So we're just resetting the decks for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would probably go Ludwig. Maybe Scotty next week. No, I'll take Scotty this week. And then are we doing the gross thing? I feel like Rory at East Lake's just a good spot for him.
Good pick. Yeah, it's interesting. Scotty feels like the person who just plays to win at all times. He's just like, he doesn't deviate from his approach. Like some of these people, I mean, I'll be honest, if I was Xander Schauffele, I would not give a shit about any of this. But he's probably a little different. I don't know. Rory, like, what's Rory's motivation?
I mean, there's a lot of money. I think
I think he's doing okay.
But for all these guys, like 25 million is like.
I got it. I know you're playing
is
golf
it 25?
for 25 million. I think it's. I don't know. I can't keep up.
Has it gone to 30 yet?
No. I remember the 30 was the total bonus payout.
Remember when it was 10?
Yes. 30 was the entire bonus.
It was like 10
pool.
like 3 years ago.
Yes. Now you've got Bezadenhout making $4.8 million for a bunch of T22s. It's incredible. how things have changed.
Do you know who's 9th in the FedEx Cup?
No, I don't memorize those standings. Why the hell would I know that? I know Scheffler's
I don't mean
won.
to pop. Sanjay M.
Just plays a lot.
It's just like kind of crazy. Like what? Like again, I follow this sport, and like I think he's been okay.
Yeah. Let's continue with our schedule.
I guess he's turned it on. He's turned it on.
He's played okay lately, I think.
A lot of top
Scottish
10s.
Yeah. All right, let's continue with our schedule.
But it just doesn't seem like a 9th. It doesn't seem like he'd be 9th.
I don't disagree. I mean, this has sort of been, sometimes it's volume, right? You play a lot and accumulate points.
It has to be the desert. So he's got a T5 at Century. How many people are in that field?
Like 40, let's call it 45.
So T5 at Century. He got 250 points for that. He got T18th at Arnold Palmer, another signature event. 105 points for that. For T18 at Arnold Palmer. RBC Heritage, kind of a soft signature event. 136 points for T12. Wells Fargo, he's just been a signature event assassin. T4 at Wells Fargo, 312 points. 312 points.
He knows what matters.
That's the same as finishing. That's more points than finishing second at a full field event.
Yeah. God. He knows when to play
well.
We're getting our turnover, it seems like. The models were right on the signature event turnover. We're tracking on that. But it does seem hard to fall out if you play well.
Star.
Yeah, there you go. Plays when it matters most. When the FedEx Cup points are on the line, Sanjay shows up.
Memorial T8, Travelers T3.
Oh, my God.
Open T7.
So he should be 9th in the FedEx Cup standings. This is a lot of good results.
I think my problem is these are all just 70-person no-cut bullshit events.
Open's not.
I agree.
Let's move on.
Jam the shit out of me at the Wyndham. It was my pick, and I was right on the border of making the playoffs in my one and done league.
So now we understand where this is all
totally jam me.
Yeah. Our schedule for the week, the USAM is off and running in Minnesota, Hazeltine, where who's the Richie Ramsey last won the USAM when it was in Hazeltine. I got some notables here from our friend Brentley.
I got notables. You want some notables?
Sure. I've got more amusing notables. Hoaxy notables.
Do you want earnest or amusing?
Let's do earnest. Do earnest. Luke Clanton made it on time. He was doing well this morning. I haven't checked lately. He was in the top 10.
Here's some people advancing to match play. Lev Greenberg, a junior player from Ukraine. Pretty cool story. He's a
cool story. Had someone try to dump a little bit on the coolness, saying he's lived in Belgium.
Okay. Well,
I think his dad lost his business in the war. It's a cool story. It's an amazing story. Amazing story.
Virginia star Ben James, T8.
Awesome.
He's on to
Great
match play.
Stud.
Preston Summerhays, ASU standout, T8. On to match play. Matthew McLean, mid-am from Ireland. I think is he an optometrist or dentist?
I thought it was something with the teeth, I believe. Maybe it's optometry. I don't know.
So whatever. He's a doctor.
Guessing.
He's a doctor who's a mid-am. He's T8 after he's T8 midway 4 holes into his second round. So it looks like he's going to make match play. Evan Beck, another mid-am, T8. Congrats to old guys. He's got to still play his round, so who knows? Luke Clanton is done and in. He's T18. I'd be terrified if I was, playing everybody else in the field. Yeah. But you got to wonder, is he going to run out of gas? It's just like so much golf for the USAM. Like there are a lot of 36-hole days. Couple other ones. David Ford, UNC star.
Sure.
Henry Guan, I think he's 15 or 16. He got to the semis of the Western Am from Dallas area, stud, and super young. Illinois star Jackson Buchanan is on to match play.
Congrats to you on that. We did get some we got some intel from the ground that Mike Small has the firmest handshake in all of the U.S. Amateur. Apparently almost broke some kid's hand shaking in the pro shop at Hazeltine or somewhere else. So that's our note from the ground on your Illini.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like you said that once on this podcast.
Gordon Sargent, good fight. 3 under at Hazeltine after a very disappointing round at Chaska yesterday. He gets to T44. He's going to be into match play. Number 1 amateur in the much maligned Wagger rankings. Probably, I don't think this is too far to say, maybe the worst rankings in all of golf, the Wagger rankings, which, not to pop our friends at the USGA, but they've put a lot of chips in the Wagger rankings, and they're kind of a disaster. And every day goes by, people are dumping more water on the Wagger rankings. But he is number 1. I don't think he's had necessarily a great summer. He's still number 1 despite Luke Clanton having 3 top 10s in PGA Tour events.
Wow. You don't get FedEx Cup points for that. You don't get, he gets OWGR points.
All right, one more. Big Tom Morris.
Missing.
Big Tom Morris on.
Yeah.
He is in.
He was on the edge. Match. Okay, he's in. All right.
Good. He's in. He's in. And then looks like somebody on the edge, Luke Colton, fan favorite of this podcast. So he's at even. Could get in. But should be awesome. I can't wait to watch the USA. I might try and sneak over there tomorrow morning. I'm in Minneapolis, but I've got a pretty packed schedule.
I like the sending the 52 State Am or Golf Association winners to it. I don't think I mind that so much. I know it may not make the strongest field, but I do think that's an interesting way to build it. I wonder. I
think it's great too.
Yeah,
I saw that. A friend of the pod, Andrew Bailey, the back-to-back Ohio Am champ. He was paired a cool, cheeky pairing from the USGA. They'd put I think it was the Michigan Am, the Ohio Am champ, and the Indiana Am champ all together.
There you go. Big Ten country. Yeah.
Well, Great Lakes. Great Lakes.
Talk about the greatest lake there amongst themselves. We had a few others. Preston Stout, Jack Bigham, Tankersley, Cameron Tankersley, Nate Diesel, and Big Tommy Morrison. We're talking Blades Brown, Barnes Blake, and Bobby Busey. You always get some interesting names in these amateur events, So
Blades,
there's always
disappointing showing from Blades. It would be disappointed in a 15-year-old.
The best was they got cheeky with John Wild, Harry Crockett, and Daniel Boone. That's just the USGA getting in their bag. Having a little fun. They don't do that at the U.S. Open anymore, sadly.
Because the big boys got mad.
Shane Lowry got mad. He got mad about him. Put him with Filet and who else was the third guy? Maybe
God, have a sense of humor. All of golf. Just be able to laugh about something.
Like the big boy pairing. Continuing on with our schedule for the week. Let me find it here. We have the ISPS Handa Women's Scottish Open, just sponsors every event on every tour. ISPS Handa Women's Scottish Open. That's at Dundonald. That's every morning. Coffee Golf on Golf Channel and Peacock.
Event of the week's USAM.
All right, good. Good.
Even if the crooked Wagger rankings are a big part of it.
That's on Wednesday, 5 to 6, 6 to 8 on Peacock, and then all the way through the 36-hole final on Sunday. A lot of Golf Channel. Big week for Peacock. I know they're worried probably about the post-Olympics era, but I'll tell you what, they got golf wall to wall between the amateur, the women's Scottish, Memphis, the Rogers Charity Classic on the senior tour. What were we going to say?
Did you listen to Lawrence Donegan on Fried Egg Pod?
Not yet.
Talking about the Wagger?
No.
Like, effectively, there are these schools in foreign countries that put on Wagger events, and kids take turns winning them.
Seems crooked.
It's okay, you win this, And they're these like made up events, and they get more points than some kid in America winning their state am.
I mean, yeah. Yes. There have been some issues, right?
This is a disaster.
International, yeah. The oversight seems like it's lacking. So.
And this is how like these fields get filled.
Yeah. Yep. The women's Scottish Open is at Dundonald. Great links course over there in Scotland, West Coast, just down the way from Troon or up the way. I can't remember. What else do we have this week? Oh, on the DP World Tour, we have the D&D Real Czech Masters. Intel from the ground. This is a landmine stop for the European Tour. I was told the price of beer and the appearance of the fair sex, that this is a landmine stop on the European Tour, given how cheap beer is and how many beautiful women there are in Prague. I gotta say, interesting field. Rory Sabatini's there. Came over from Slovakia to Prague to play this.
I hope he gets a lot of questions about the Olympics.
Was it lessened this year with no Slovakian representation? And
like
this,
he would have been a good course fit for like Golf National.
Who's playing there? This is where the PGA Tour, like 150 to 200 FedEx category.
No,
they're just dumping their sewage, flushing it out. Comes out the other side in Prague. We've got Brandt Snedeker.
What?
Why is he in the Czech Masters?
Well,
Kevin Chappell.
He won the Sportsmanship Award.
The Payne Stewart Award. Kevin Chappell. Jason Duffner. They're in Prague this week. And
I mean,
like, Sned's
it sounds pretty great.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, it sounds better than Memphis. It sounds way better than Memphis.
Like, I'd love to go to Prague for work.
Yeah. Sounds 1,000 times better than Memphis in August. Sned's recently named a Ryder Cup assistant captain for next week.
He's scouting.
Next year.
He's scouting the other team.
He's reconnaissance.
Luke Donald's in the field, too.
He's going behind enemy lines. I see he's playing with Alex Fitzpatrick and Bernd Wiesberger. Maybe he's just collecting intel. Keegan said, get over there to Prague. You have some level of status via the strategic alliance. Get over there and start collecting intel. It's an interesting approach, but you got Sneds and Chappell and others playing at the Czech Masters. That's coffee golf as well.
I saw Max Rotliff is in the field.
Yeah.
His name's listed in full, Maximilian. I mean, if you're going to name your kid Max, you have to go Maximilian, right?
I mean, I think filling out your homework papers and everything else, it just gets a little tedious at times. You just want to write Max at the top of your paper.
But it's a pretty great name.
It's a great name. There's a real Max zone developing in golf. You know, Grazerman, McGreevy, Homa, and Rotliff. There's several in the Max zone.
McGreevy, spotlight of maybe the first cutthroat corner.
He jammed me, shoved it up. Yeah, he got right at me. Shoved it down my face.
Ricky jammed me the other day.
I think that does it. Oh, we have Live Greenbrier, which we'll get to. Doesn't start till Friday. That's back up and running. Live coming to a finish here with a few more American events. News: Sanderson Farms is out as title sponsor.
I saw he wore the hat.
I've got my Sanderson hat on. Gone but never forgotten.
Who could see
Greatest
that
trophy
coming to an end? It turns out they didn't sell a bunch of chickens from a golf sponsor.
They were just supporting get out of here. You think they went into it to sell a bunch of chickens? Some like a sleepy stop in Jackson, Mississippi. They were going to just disrupt the chicken industry.
Well, if they were just doing it to support the community, why are they out?
Because the price of the brick keeps going up. It's ridiculous.
It's because Bezadenhout needs to make $4.8 million.
What I would like to make a point out, though, is it seems like more title sponsors, there's always going to be turnover. What might be happening, though, Andy, if you're not paying attention, is that PGA Tour Championship management is slowly getting their hooks into a little bit more. I hope this doesn't happen to the Sanderson, but that the Quail Hollow has shifted over to that. That was kind of it was a little hidden element in that one. Is the tour just going to run everything its own way, its own style? That championship management has been the subject of some pretty incendiary comments about how they get things done or don't get things done. But Sanderson's out. Solheim Cup is going to Valhalla.
Bad rep within the organization and within
the mode.
Within those that are unsubstantiated within the organization, and within anybody that is in the golf industry. Seemingly.
Likes golf. Solheim Cup is going to Valhalla in Louisville. I know you're happy about that. Seems like it. Great event. Great place for that kind of event.
Of all the cool places, all the cool courses in the world that women's golf could have a match play event, I think this might be at the bottom of the list of places that I want to go. Would I like to go to Louisville? Would I like to go to Louisville for an event? Yeah, absolutely. Does it have to be at Valhalla is what I would ask.
I think it will probably do well from an attendance, a revenue, a crowd standpoint. I know that's not your primary concern, maybe not mine either, but it'll probably be popping off for something like that. But there could be both objectives could be served elsewhere.
You know what? Maybe the course will be completely renovated by then.
What in your mind is a complete renovation? Just tear it down,
blow
to the studs.
Up. Just blow it up. Start over. Carte blanche.
All right. I think that does it for news.
I mean, like that might be the worst course you could play for women's golf.
I get what you're selling here. I understand. Does it? I think for news schedule for the week, I'm going to close it out with the Chichi Rodriguez story we got sent to us. Just a little levity on Wednesday. R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Chichi.
My closest, we mentioned him on Monday.
His sword.
Amazing. Just left an impression on every golf fan, casual or diehard.
As a kid, Chichi was just a legend.
It was awesome. There's so many guys you just don't remember, like come through your life. You never remember after watching them for an hour on the TV. Not Chichi.
What golfer would you most want to develop a shtick like Chichi? Not saying Chichi's sword, but maybe some like sort of
thing.
Yeah. I think Billy could pull it off.
I was about to say, I think he's like 60% of the way already there. You know, it's not far. What
if Billy did a gator chomp every time he made a big putt?
Could be
to the crowd.
He did it at Eastlake that one year. The UGA fans didn't love that. My closest childhood friend was a cart boy in the late 90s at a mediocre, at best, public course.
Do you think he was a cart boy who stole speakers?
No, I don't. It was one of the crappiest courses in the Metro Providence area. And for some reason, they held a clinic hosted by Chi-Chi. This gets to a lot of what we've heard about Chi-Chi. He would just give back, like just do a ton of clinics, give back, quote unquote, grow the game in sort of unheralded ways, maybe when you don't need to be there. In the late morning during the clinic, one of Chi-Chi's handlers came to my friend and asked / borderline demanded he head out for a bucket of KFC and a honeydew melon for Mr. Rodriguez's lunch. And it had to be a honeydew. No other melon, water or otherwise, would do. And he could not come back until he found a honeydew melon, which took several visits to multiple area grocery store chains, plus the KFC.
What if they were out of season?
I love this. What a character. Must be one honeydew melon, a bucket of KFC, and that's it. Inflexible. What a great character. Honeydew's a terrible fruit, by the way. Just what they use to fill the fruit salad, take up space. Bad fruit. All right,
you know what's pretty good? Cantaloupe.
What? It's okay.
And I think it gets blended. It gets mixed in with honeydew.
Honeydew.
The stink of honeydew is all over cantaloupe.
It's all the same thing. That's one. Yeah. People. Yeah. All right, that does it for this Wednesday episode.
What a big episode here.
We'll be back with you on Friday.
Do you think Kuchar's going to do anything before Friday?
he might have another story, another explanation for why it was so justifiable in the moment. He lost his temper and picked up and went home. There's a reason. We'll hear something again. All right, talk to you on Friday.